Welcome to Mic Check Waifu Waifu.
Mic check, waifu, king, Telliano. Is that you?
Happy birthday, bro. Lo was good.
This is episode 272 of Mic Check Waifu, a palindrome, and it rhymes. As always, it's brought to you by Patreon. Patreon.com/Mic Check Waifu is where you can get early access to the video version of this podcast. This is where you can get access to the pre-show exclusive to Patreon supporters. Shout out to Rob Stone commenting on it, and we read that in the pre-show. Make sure you go check out the pre-show if you are a Patreon supporter at any tier. You get access to that. You get access to our Patreon exclusive podcast, The After Story. I'm going to explain later why we haven't done one yet, but it couldn't be done without the Patreon producers. Shout out to the Patreon producers that keep the lights on every week here at Mic Check Waifu. Christian the Archivist, Rob from Dad Needs to Talk podcast. More from him later. Fear, Glazed Yams, J. Lee Trey from Shogo High, Kent the Pro from Chaotic Culture, and Shogo High explicitly all for one Matt, Monique Williams, Simi, Sensei, Frozen, Rob Stone, T Money Fingers. Thank you so much for producing this and many other episodes of the podcast. We appreciate you for supporting us and everybody that supports us on Patreon. It means the world to us. Romaine, Will, Alan, Crystal, Burke. We love y'all. Thank y'all so much for supporting us. Thank you. And more. There's others. J. Cole, Storm. We appreciate y'all. Thank you. Anyway, let me just explain. So the reason why it's a little bit harder for me to do After Story, and I know it seems like we come up with an excuse for After Story almost every fucking week, but this time this is actually important. I was going to share this on the After Story. Besides, okay, fuck it. I'm gonna just do it. Because it's happening regardless.
Yeah.
I'm getting married. I am getting married November 7th. It's a big deal for me. It's a big deal for my other of 3 years. I love her to death. So it's a lot. Even though it's not even a major wedding, right? It's something small and intimate, but it still comes with a lot. So it's a lot going on with that. So, working through that. So forgive me for not being consistent with the After Story. I'll take responsibility for it, but I appreciate y'all. And thank you, Tel, for the happy birthday. Because technically, by the time y'all hearing the video version, which I'm going to drop tomorrow on Monday, it's my birthday. 33. Jesus Christ, to be 33. Anyway, I'm 33. By the time you're hearing this, I'm old. I don't know. I don't know how I feel. I feel good though. I'm happy.
33, you've been together with someone for 3 years, and you're getting married this year. I feel like 333. It might just be your number, brother.
Oh shit! Yeah. Might be the number. Which is also in 7th day for all my video game nerds, which is a big deal. And 7 days are huge. They always drop some Mass Effect teasers or tidbits, but I digress. This is an anime podcast. Tell, how you feeling, brother?
I'm good, bro. I just want to say I'm happy you said that because I'm very happy for you, obviously.
Thank you.
Monique and I over here cheesing. My wife's best friend literally just left earlier today.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah, so my wife's best friend was here she leaves technically tomorrow morning, but we made ribs and stuff. I was a little bit behind on anime because of that, so basically all today I just been like binging, trying to catch up on what I can catch up on. But it's been a good week. Like I was explaining to Polow, homework and stuff with school is going fire.
Yeah, check out the pre-show for that. That was a fire conversation.
I love A's.
Learning what he learning.
I love A's, and A's is my thing. That's what I do. But it's been a good week overall, bro. Mad chill. and also I will be off for the next 2 weeks, and then start November, I'll be off for that whole month.
Damn.
So I'm excited. I'm excited.
Yeah.
We're traveling, obviously, and then we thinking about maybe we might end up sliding to Ohio for a couple weeks.
Nice.
So that's exciting. And since I have this computer that can actually be mobile and run a camera and microphone, I can actually basically do the podcast almost anywhere as long as I have the space. So we're excited. We're very excited. Life is about to get real mobile for us. So
dope. Yeah. So, for those watching the video version of the podcast, shout out to YouTube. YouTube has again been popping off recently. Don't know why. Don't know where it's coming from, but we appreciate it. But I'm super red right now. Usually I have a ring light on that I turn on that's right under my monitor, but I'm not turning it on this time because it gives me a headache. So we're gonna chill with red Polow today. Anyway, so the Anime Podcast is brought to you every Tuesday at 9:30 a.m. CT. Seasonal anime specifically. Fall season is fully, I would say,
launched.
98% here. There's literally 2 more shows that I'm waiting for to drop, which is Blue Mabaro, which is Frozen Sleeper, and then Ari Friata season 3, which I'm actually excited for, funny enough. Even though I hated the show when it first came out, but it's actually really, really good when you give it a legitimate chance and look past the terrible CGI. But yeah, that's those 2 are the last 2 shows for me personally that I'm waiting. You got any? Okay, just those 2 for you as well.
Clean. Yeah, brother.
Clean. All right, let's start with what we normally start off with, and that is the episodes of the week this week.
Orbs.
Orbs is your episode of the week this week. Okay,
yep.
Okay. I just told Tell in the pre-show that I didn't watch it because what I did was, just like Tell, I was behind in anime, and it's mostly because of video games. Like, the Diablo expansion came out. I was sucked into that. And then Metaphor Refantasio. So if you're a JRPG fan like I am, you already know what that is.
I need to get that. I was playing Dragon Ball also.
Dragon Ball also came out. But Metaphor and Diablo 4 expansion ate up my time. And I literally watched as much as I could today.
Is Metaphor made by the Persona Group?
Yes, it is.
It looks fucking phenomenal, bro.
It's so good. It's so good. It's so good. But So I was like, when I was looking at the anime today, I'm like, fuck, man, what do I want to watch? Because I watched like 9 shows today. I'm like, fuck, I really don't feel like watching Orb because I knew what the first episode was for Orb, and I knew that the second episode got so much better. And then I was like, but I just don't feel like dealing with that right now because I'm so tired from watching everything else. Plus, I was up at like 7 o'clock this morning for absolutely no reason after going to bed super late. So it was rough. So I took a nap and I ended up sleeping to like 7 and then got up and played Diablo and forgot that I should have watched Orb out as soon as I got up. But I digress. Anyway,
good, brother.
Yeah, that's Orb is your episode of the week. My episode of the week this week, and I'm sorry to do this 2 times in a row, is You Are Ms.Servant, man. You Are Ms.Servant.
Easy.
So good. So fucking good. This might be one of my favorite shows. This and funny enough, Samashu are both 2 shows that I'm absolutely loving the most this season, for sure. But to start, let's just go right into our sleepers. Both of our sleepers dropped today. So we're going to start off with that first.
All right, let's do it.
Oh, sorry. I forgot. We added a segment where we add the Discord of the week. Episode of the week. So how can I forget? So Discord conversation on our forum. Join our Discord, discord.mycheckwaifu.com. Whenever you participate in one of the threads, it has a chance for that particular anime to be the Discord most conversated episode of the week. So it's not necessarily it's their favorite episode, but it's the most conversated episode in our Discord. So this week was actually, funny enough, it was actually ReZero.
Oh, obviously.
ReZero had the most conversations. Shout out to Fear for posting the forum page for that. But we discussed basically my theory that I talked about if you listened to last week's spoiler half with the ReZero conversation. We basically talked about that, and we were going to talk about that again in the spoiler talk. So ReZero spoiler talk, Bleach talk is back in the spoiler talk, as well as Reincarnated as an Aristocrat. So be excited for that. After the music break, we're going to spoil those 3 shows specifically. But as we normally do when a new season drops, we normally spoil episode 1s of these things just so you determine like, okay, that sounds cool and I want to add it to my list, or nah, that don't sound like it's for me. I'm not going to add it to my anime list. So that's what we do at the beginning of a season. So let's talk about some more shows that dropped this fall, shall we? And then we're going to start off with the sleepers, as I said. Yakuza Fiance. Let's start there. That is my sleeper this week or this season. Interesting. Here's what I say about this to start, Till. Yakuza Fiance looks amazing when it's serious. But
Okay.
in the episode, there wasn't that much of the seriousness to it. And what I mean by that is the art style. You know how anime does its anime thing where it dramatize emotion when it comes to the characters, and they change the art style to showcase that dramatization, you know, like how it's the girl's being goofy, so she makes a goofy, weird anime face, right? Like, y'all know what I'm talking about when y'all see it, if you watch anime. So
like overly like overly,
like draws to the floor and very, very boisterous. It's a lot of that, but when it's not doing that, it is one of the most beautiful shows. Like, it's the art style. It's like a 90s aesthetic to it. That's
stylistically beautiful. I love it. It almost feels very manga-esque with the actual art style.
Yes,
and it fits the Yakuza theme. If you know you want to ask me,
facts.
I think it is actually pretty on point. Now, I get what you mean by serious though, because if it's getting silly, it doesn't always kind of fit that aesthetic. But when it's serious, it does. Like, I feel like it's on point.
Yeah, when it's serious, is probably one of the best looking shows this season, to be honest. But you know, I digress. With that being said, though, the first episode bothered me a lot until the end, and it's mostly because of one particular scene, and it was with the guy and the way he talked to the girl. We hate these kind of people. I really do hate this kind of men in general. So it was very rough in that part, but then the way it ended literally cleaned up everything for me and made it a whole lot better to tolerate. Outside of the over dramatizations of the comedic beats of the show, the serious parts of it, I want it to be more serious. I got a feeling it won't be. It's going to be a lot of silly shit, but I wish it was more serious because I think it would have been like a slice of life, serious, more adult themed show. I think will enjoy it more that way, but it's not going to be that. So this might be one of my middling sleepers, I think, but we shall see.
I actually, and I guess I kind of disagree with you. Okay. Because the beginning, I agree on that part. Like the whole beginning, I was like, I don't know where this is going. I'm not necessarily feeling this. The characters seem very opposite, and I was hoping actually that like that would be the thing. Almost, I would have rather almost the beginning happened, but then there was some kind of clarification on the liking each other kind of thing. Yes, I would have almost rathered a more how you say it, atypical be usual. Yep. I would have rather them do that. Same at the beginning. Yeah. Now when she had her kind of motif switch, where she changed her mind and did things differently, I was like, oh no, she came in shaking it up. Yeah, I rocked with that. I rocked with that because what it starts off as is a girl who's the granddaughter of a former Yakuza family, or it's a Yakuza family, and they run this smaller city. Yeah, a smaller province, Okaza or Okusa or something like that. Yeah, in Okinawa. So she is in Okinawa with her grandfather, and her grandfather tells her to go to Tokyo to marry or check out this potential marriage, part of another family. And she goes there, and when she gets there, it's a bunch of nonsense. A bunch of nonsense happens. So people are upset that she came to school with the guy that she's potentially supposed to marry, and they're kind of bullying her and doing shit that she's pseudo used to. She's not really that used to, I should say, because in her neighborhood, everyone knows her. Yeah, her hometown, she's the daughter of a Yakuza, so they don't fuck with her. So the kids don't fuck with her, but the adults are like, everybody knows her, so they're super chill with her. But I digress.
it was cool I thought it was going to be that, though, like you said, the atypical be usual romance that kind of like blossoms from this guy being super dope, but then all of a sudden maybe he gets caught doing some Yakuza shit, and it kind to jeopardize what she's feeling when she sees him. However, that is the case for the most part. There was a part of it that was a little bit more dastardly.
Ain't no rock with that.
Yeah, dastardly than that. So she sees that he's doing Yakuza-esque shit, and she's not she's not with it per se. But then they go out, and when they're going out, what was it? Was it like a little date or something like that to
go shopping to pick up some stuff for her?
Yeah, to pick up some stuff for her since she's moved to Tokyo from Okinawa. And when that happens, she gets hit on in the street by some thugs. And then the Yakuza guy comes and beat the shit. I mean, absolutely devastate these thugs. Great. Like by himself. He just beat the brakes off of all of them. And she sees this and she kind of is a little freaked out by it, but he comes to her and basically shits on her and tries to just completely demeans and degrades this girl and tells her like, you should just go back, or if you don't want to go back, you could be a sex worker for me, and all kinds of just dastardly, disgusting shit that I just hated. It made me hate him as a character. Like I still don't like him now, but it made me hate the show at that particular moment in the episode. Yeah. So when he tells her that, she kind of disappears for 2 weeks. And he thinking she got rid of her by doing that. And I think his intentions was to just get rid of her. Not necessarily mean what he said, but just get rid of her in general, just so he wouldn't be bored was his excuse, I guess. I'm thinking, this is what I'm hoping, that he's actually a good guy and he did that just so she wouldn't get hurt. That is where my morality hope he is.
I don't feel that.
You don't feel that? Yeah, me either. To be honest, I'm gonna keep it real with you. I don't feel it either. But that's where I'm hoping it goes. However, he seems like an asshole. But she's gone for 2 weeks, and then one day she returns to school, walks in this classroom, and drops a bag of fucking money on the desk.
4 million of them. 4
million yen on the desk, and said, "Here." Because he was talking about, do some sex work for me and earn me some money. She's like, I'm earning you some money, but I'm going to do it my way. Come to find out, she sold a fucking kidney in order to prove to him that you ain't scaring me away. Because after a conversation with her grandfather, she figured that it's best for her to stay for reasons in the show that they kind of announced. And it was fucking cool. She just was like, yo, fuck you, I'm not leaving. You're not going to make me leave. So here, I'm going to deal with whatever you got. And even talking to the bullies, like, fuck y'all too. Like, whatever beef y'all got with me, I don't want to hear it, basically, is what she says to them. And it was like the motif switch Tel talked about. It was so cool. And that made me like the show again. I'm like, okay, now I really like this. Because that's fucking, I like the way she's moving now.
And I got to say, I agree with that. Because initially, I was like, Polow dropped a ball on this.
Yeah, I know. Because like, what would I want to roll for a romance like this with this motherfucker, right?
At all, right? But and I agree. Even though I still hate this dude, but I like her personality change. Mm-hmm. I feel like, and it's gonna suck, right? She about to carry this show specifically. She's gonna carry this show specifically. I hope that the interactions or something. Like, cause she seemed kind of badass after that moment, you know what I mean? Yep. So I feel like with that gear change, with that motif, like, switch, that we'll get some more dynamic characterization for her, and maybe the environment will shift as well. Like, we'll get more characters that make it seem like or just more interesting.
Yeah. So, and then to finish that off, like after she did all that to the bullies and to him, he's like, "Oh, I love you. Like, I let's get married right away." And it just felt weird. Again, I'm praying that he's just really deep down like, okay, I just want to protect her, because if she gets involved with me in this life, it's gonna be terrible. So let me try to scare her away the best way I possibly can, because we be doing some gangster shit. So that's because he does. He definitely do torture people and all kinds of shit. So
he had doing a head in a vice grip,
literally.
Face was bulging.
Yep, no metaphor refantasio with that one. So it was very interesting, man. I'm looking forward to seeing where this go. It does have a 69% on AniList, which I get because that first episode was a little rough. It's done by Studio Dean, which did Days with My Stepsister, Marie Monster, which is a huge yeah. So they got a wide variety of things. 7 Deadly Sins. Oof. Studio Dean is not that great track record, to be honest. But Days with My Stepsister looked phenomenal. You could tell that's where they focus went. And then they got this. So far, these two shows look particularly great. Anyway, that's it for my sleeper. Tell your sleeper. Demon Lord 2099.
Yeah, brother.
And it's the show we're reviewing at the end of the season.
So I'm a little shocked by this one. And when I think I enjoyed watching, just to get my initial impressions, I enjoy watching it. And I say that because I was a little shocked. I'm not gonna say it was like going to be episode of the week. But it was definitely had some intriguing bits, and I hope that it can kind of keep this pace. So we kind of start off with this big, overwhelming fight with the Demon Lord and the hero. Our main character, Velto Velvet Ves.
That name was crazy, by the way.
Velto Velvet Vesvolt is the Demon Lord in the year 15, like
09 or something like that?
1589. No, it was 1518. That's what it was. It was 1519. Sorry. So it's 1519 is the year, and he's fighting the hero Graham, and Graham finally gets the best of him. And this is a bonkers fight. It actually looks pretty solid too to begin with, and it's funny because the animation dropped immediately after this fight. Like you can see it got a little choppier and stuff like that. But that's fine because they had to keep this high point in the beginning to sink its teeth into people. I'm just being nitpicky,
hyperbolic, if you will.
It starts off with this great fight, and he's kind of like, how did a human come to the points where he can defeat me? And Graham is kind of explaining like, well, we hold on to the glimmer of life, and we just do what we can, and we'll hope until we can find a way. And it's like, brother, this is very regular. But it was a pretty decent, good fight to begin with, and the Demon Lord perishes in the end. And I was like, okay, that's the entry. We gonna get to what happens later, right? Basically, 580 years into the future, it's 2099, and basically he gets woken up by what's her name, Machina.
Yeah. So at this part, this is when Machina explains that both her universe and our universe collides with each other, and they end up mixing their realities together or some shit like that. Mixing their worlds together. I'm sorry.
So you get technology and magic tech.
Yeah, and demons and immortals and humans living amongst each other. And they basically explain like that when that happened, 90% of both civilizations died.
Right.
Which means that essentially this is all that's left in this Shinjuku area between immortals and humans, and it's pretty much all that there is to it. And now when we talk about like magic mixing with like technology, it's quite literally cyberpunk-esque.
Yeah. Now that part was kind of cool though.
Yeah, same.
I saw that and I was like, nah, that's fire.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, all right. And we kind of get these glimpses, and we don't really get an explanation immediately, right? But we see like the orcs, or like the orcish demon people walking around. They got these little chip things they put on their neck. Machina has one on the back of her neck, and we're kind of seeing like magic and tech integration. We see these giant towers, so it's like a futuristic metropolis, like this village or like this town that's like just well developed, and you see a ton of people traveling around and whatnot. But what is it? Almost like a futuristic New York is kind of like, but it's futuristic Tokyo or Shinjuku, like Japan.
Another important part though that I forgot to mention after I talked about the mixing was that there was a war between the two races too that lasted 80 years. That was kind of a big deal.
Yes, that was 2019 is when that war would have started, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And I guess 80 would have just ended.
80 years, yep. And it just ended that year, I think what they said, right? 2099. So, which was, and all the political intrigue, right? And the situation makes sense. And I didn't get to say how I felt about the show. I just want to say, I think it's okay so far. It got way better towards the end.
Of course. And I think the reason it got better was what made me like, I was like, oh yeah. I'm in now.
Yeah, exactly. Because I was struggling at first. I'm like, this is kind of like cool. Like the world aspect of it. Like the world is better than the characters so far. Like that was what I was feeling. And normally what we say is if your characters ain't shit, then your anime probably won't be shit. Because even if the world is well developed, if the character sucked, then why would I be interested? For example, Attack on Titan. But
this world is actually kind of very interesting.
Very much carrying.
Because it's a very Polow and Tell ass world.
Yeah, I guess
normally
that's true.
Polow and Tell anime.
Yeah,
this is the Polow and Tell ass world right off the bat.
Yep. Futuristic
and magical. Come on, brother.
Yeah, definitely. So that's probably why I'm enjoying the world so much, and it's kind of carrying the show. It was carrying the show up until the point Tail's going to talk about here shortly.
But basically, Makina explains to him what happened after his fight. Basically, two of his guards or his
generals,
two of his vassals, two of his vassals, protected Makina and others as they kind of escaped, and basically they died there. Now we're left with Captain Crudface, Marcus.
Marcus.
Marcus and Kinohara and Makina. I think there's still one more.
So when he's in the world, he's basically confused at all the city shit. But he finds out that the boy Marcus is up into one of the largest towers in Shinjuku. He's like up in that tower running a business or something like that. So he goes there.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was go ahead. I was gonna let you finish.
I was saying he's basically in the business of producing magic circuits.
Well, yeah. Once we figure out that once Vito gets up there and find out that he's producing these magic circuits, but we don't know exactly what the magic circuits do yet.
Well, yeah, not quite yet. So he gets up there and he's talking to him. He's like, hey. I'm back and I'm ready to take over. Essentially, I'm ready to go ahead and restart my conquest to take over the world. And Marcus is like, "All right, cool, but nah, I don't follow your reign anymore." And he's like, "What you mean? What do you mean by that?" In the Trey Rags, what do you mean by that?
You know who you talking to?
Yeah, and he's like, yeah, did you think I ever respected you? Like, I never liked you. And it made me sick to my stomach that I ever thought that I would have to follow you. And he's like, okay. So he starts trying to cast magic and what is it? Spell breaker. I was like, no, that sound kind of hard.
Yeah, so what he means is Veto was about to cast a spell at Marcus to shut his shit down because he's like, yo, you forget I'm the demon lord. Let me show you what I got. And as he's casting that's when Marcus
says spell breaker, and basically he cancels the spell. And Velto's like, how could you do that with me? And Marcus is like, yeah, I bet you're wondering, how could someone who has no magic affiliation or affinity, how am I able to do this? And he starts explaining the kind of like circuitry thing that he's producing. Basically, there's 5 steps to producing magic or casting a spell. This cuts out 3 of those. So you don't actually have to be good. You just choose a spell and you cast that bug, which is crazy.
Wild, yeah.
And Velto goes to try and cast a spell again, and no.
Shut that shit down.
Breaker again. He gets hit with basically 3 blood. Well, actually, no, because the girl, she cut him too.
Well, yeah, yep.
But basically he gets hit with blood swords that get detonated in his body, and he's blown out the building. as Marcus and Kinohara, is that her name?
I think
Kinohara continue to kind of plan things, and Kinohara, all she cares about is little mascot thing.
Yeah, so I was watching, I was testing some stuff out on my browser, right? And I learned that I can actually do watch-alongs. So I was watching this with Multipurpose, one of our friends that we game with, and we was talking, he was saying like, man, so he got blown out of a window, and then when he gets blown out of that window, he lands on trash. Okay, for one, he gets up and he's kind of like in shock and awe that this is happening to him because he's the fucking demon lord, and he bumps into one of the orc creatures that Tell mentioned earlier, and the orc creature and like his buddies, which seemed like a small little thug gang, beat the demon lord ass again. And Multipurpose was like, man, this demon lord is catching 2 fades in one. He's done. Oh my God. So he basically got his pride shattered. Right. But when he finally gets up, he meets the girl that Machina that resurrected him again, and she basically tells him like, hey, let's go back. I'm sorry for leaving you alone, because she stepped away for something when he walked away on his own. She brought him back to her place, and he's thinking she's going back to a castle so they can start planning taking over the world again. Come to find out that she's walking into a studio apartment that is extremely tiny. And this is the part of the show that got me involved with the characters. Now, mind you, this is the last 3 minutes of the show. So when he got his ass beat, I'm like, okay, now I'm ready for the get back. Yep. So for you were enjoying it. For me, I would say, okay, I'm just here for the get back again. So it was like another, what was that anime? The anime we just watched last season. Y'all know what I'm talking about. But I'm like, okay, so now I'm just here for the get back. I don't care about none of the characters. I just want to see him beat his ass. I wasn't really necessarily enjoying it at that particular moment. I was just here for the get back. But then when they got to the apartment and he said what he said, which was like it was like, You've suffered so long. What did he say? He
basically said, what did he say? He said,
I wish I would have wrote it down.
The depth of your loyalty to me. You've shown me the depth of your loyalty to me. And then he basically pulled her in, and she started to tear up and cry. And now that just solidified it in my heart. Yep. That not only is he going to get it back in blood, he's gonna do it and make sure she's in the best possible position. I was like, yep. I'm here. Now I'm like, okay, now I enjoy his character, because I thought he was a little bit one-dimensional throughout that entire time, up until that point. That point showed that he actually cared about his people, because before that he was just kind of like, yeah, why are you still sitting down? I'm the demon lord. I'm the demon lord. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Like, you know, that gets old really fast. But when he showed that, he's like, okay, I'm going to reward your loyalty. And then now he's starting to, and it wasn't like he was completely down on getting his ass whooped twice, like Multipurpose thought he was going to be. Right. So it was very interesting to see how he bounces back from that humiliation. And that is what I'm looking forward to. Yeah, I actually thought he showed some humility in the beginning when he went to go talk to the dude or Marcus. I feel like he showed like, I'm looking for my people, right? In this whole world, because I thought he was kind of funny, because his reaction, and that's what also had me, is that his blatant unawareness of the world, right? He had no real questions about the world. He just assumed that he was still the strongest around. Which made it laughable. Because I kind of had the feeling that when I saw the world, I was like, oh nah, this is gonna be an adjustment period right here you're gonna have, bro. But I felt like he had some like characterization to him when he stepped to go look for his when he went to go look for Marcus. Basically, like it felt like he had interest in his actual people. You know what I mean? Like it felt like he had interest in his people. Like he actually did care. And then even when he said like, because then after he got beat up by Marcus, he went back and said, yeah, if you had told me, I would have wanted to go see Marcus even more, because I want to know why, like what's going on. To me, it felt like they were giving him like this caring characterization, just to like show that he is more than Demon Lord. And I feel like even he was understanding that from Graham. Now, this is just me putting the pieces together after watching the whole episode. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it was like, it showed that he kind of has some carrying, but he just didn't fully, I guess, like he's a demon lord, so he's not like supposed to be all human bag. But I am interested in that specifically because of the characterization at the end.
Yeah,
that is what made it feel like these characters are relatable now. Because
100%.
the world was already, I think the world was on point as soon as they kind of showed how the world is being developed. I was like, oh no, that's good. I like the world. Now give me the characters to go with it. So right now the characters are like sitting at like I'm gonna say like a 7.5. 8, but that world is damn near a 9.5, 10 kind of shit. The world, I'm super interested in the world. We just don't know enough about it yet.
Exactly. So I don't know. It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad at all. I thought it was gonna be kind of blasé until it really got going. It has the same as Yakuza Fiance, about 68% roughly, because the mean score is 71%. The average is 67, which is roughly around Yakuza Fiance, because Yakuza Fiance was 69 and 68 respectively. So yeah, it's quite intriguing. I think
that score is deserved.
Yeah. So far, episode 1, 67 closer to for me personally, but yeah, I do think it's mostly deserved. Now, let's talk about one that I completely forgot that I watched at one point that returned with a season 2. I'm not going to spoil anything of it, but I do want to give recognition where it's due. Okay, it's Spirit Chronicles season 2. Now,
I didn't start that one yet.
You should. So Spirit Chronicles is one that we watched a couple of seasons, like I think a year or so ago. And I think
it was a little over a year. Yeah,
extremely forgettable. Like, because I forgot that I even watched it, but when it came back, it just picked up right where it left off. Kind of give you a brief reminder of what happened, and it's about a kid who died in his previous life in a car accident, but wasn't necessarily reincarnated. Well, I guess technically he was. He was reincarnated into another kid though, which is a different take on what it is in typical Isekais. But he's reincarnated as another kid who happens to get his memories back at a certain point in his childhood of his previous life. So, and he starts to learn magic and shit, and becomes really, really powerful all in season 1. Season 2 begins. I'm not going to go into it, but it picks up where that left off. And, I guess I can say this. Some other students get summoned to the world that he's now in. Some students that he's actually very familiar with. But what's cool, and this is the cool part, this episode was really good, actually. It was decently good. But what I found so intriguing about it, so you know how in other world, when you get summoned to another world, sometimes like the language isn't necessarily known per se.
Right.
The kids that he was familiar with was summoned to this other world, and they didn't understand anything that anybody else was saying. They were picked up by slavers immediately, and they didn't understand anything that the slavers were saying. So the slavers were talking their language, right?
Yeah.
One of his or the main character Spirit, which you learned about in season 1, so I'm not going to go into detail about that. The main character Spirit then like meets up with the other students, and he's speaking Japan to the students, and the students like, oh, okay, so you actually understand this? Blah, blah, blah. Long story short, fast forward through the episode, his spirit connects his brain to the other spirit, or the other, I guess his teacher, you could call her. He connects his brain to his teacher, and then his teacher to the students. And what that does is that allows for the students that speak only Japanese to understand the language. But the way they did it, right, was they would still speak the language. So the girl who was from the world, who was born in the world, still speak that language. But over top of it, it'll be the Japanese language. So you can still hear in the background while she's talking that other language, you will hear the translated language in front of it. So it was like faded behind it. So it was, while they were still talking that language, it was kind of like translated in real time. It was so fucking cool. Mind you, this is a dubbed in like a day and date dub too. So it was technically English, but it was so fucking sweet that I'm like, oh, this is really a really cool thing to do.
And it's probably partially because this show has a mobile game on it. So they probably making a ton of money anyway.
Spirit Chronicles has a mobile game?
I'm pretty sure it has a mobile game. One of them gacha games.
I'm looking here.
I'm pretty sure.
You might be right, but I don't know. The studio is doing Sakamoto Days.
Yeah, which we hear a lot of hype about. I haven't read that one though.
Me either. They're also doing Dr. Stone all next year. They're doing Blue Box as well. They're doing a lot of stuff. They also did My Wife Has No Emotions. Weird.
Oh my God.
Weird range. But I mean, the first episode got a 75 on Annie list. It was good. It was good. It was very, very good. I'm like, damn, okay. This was a creative ass way of doing like different languages in other worlds. Cause like, so let's say I'm speaking English right now and then you don't understand English. And then we get the little translation thing. My English, I would still be speaking English, but it will come out to you as Spanish or whatever language you speak. You know what I'm saying? Like that shit is so cool. It's like a real time translator. So I don't know. Spirit Chronicles, I think it was a cool second season start, but
yeah.
Go ahead.
Now, hear me out, bro. I know you're not gonna watch this. Dragon Ball Daima.
Yeah, I'm not gonna watch that.
It is goofy, and if you are not a Dragon Ball fan, don't watch it. I ain't even gonna lie to you. It is so. Basically, how this world works is we start off right after the Buu saga. So to me, I'm instantly irritated. Okay, so I'm like, I'm not gonna watch it. I'm instantly irritated because that's where Dragon Ball Super starts.
Right.
What are we doing here? That's where Dragon Ball Super starts. That's where Dragon Ball GT starts. What are we doing? But basically, the demon realm is watching Goku and all his people, and they're like, hey, Majin Buu is about to destroy them. And they're watching the whole situation of Majin Buu unfold. And then they're like, hold up, wait, they killed Majin Buu? They defeated Majin Buu? There's no way. And at this time, what's his name? Diabara, who was controlled by Majin Buu and Babidi, who was the Demon King. They're like, oh, well, if Diodara is dead, then I'm now the new Demon King. So there's a new Demon King, and basically they kind of do, and I feel like they may have explained this, but I feel like this is just like one of those plot twist things they kind of pull out their ass. There's a Namekian in the demon realm named Neva, and basically he is the creator of the Dragon Balls. He also created these 3 giant machines or warriors that protect the demon realm Dragon Balls that apparently create evil wishes with black magic, but everyone is afraid to get the Dragon Balls because they'll be killed by the giant machines that he made. So his old raggedy beat up self, who hasn't taken a shower in 1,000 years, goes to the human realm with the new Demon King, who basically wants to prevent Goku and his people from ever having a reason to come to the demon realm. Which makes no sense, right? Because why, if you want to prevent them from coming to the demon realm, why would you go to them, use your Dragon Balls to make a wish, and then make a grudge with them by making the wish be you want to make them small? Because
Dragon Ball.
Right. So the wish is I want to turn them all into children. Shenron's like, when you say children, what do you mean by children? Shenron, they're like, oh, I mean, can you make them first graders? He's like, okay, so what do you want to do with people who are already children? Turn them to babies? Okay. So basically everybody who is an adult got turned into first graders, and everybody who was a kid got turned into babies. So yeah, no adult kid, no adult trunks and all that stuff. Sorry to hear that. You'll be all right. But basically, I'm gonna watch it. But there's not going to be any development here for this storyline.
Shout out to Kilo. He types in our anime section in Discord, says Daima was alright, nothing really happened. The art style and animation were good, definitely way better than the early days Super. I really could have had done without the 10 minutes of the Buu Saga recap. Like Super, I think I'm gonna wait it out until it's dubbed and out. Hopefully it comes out in a reasonable amount of time.
Yeah, I think this is one of those things I'm literally just gonna turn on and forget about.
Fear replies to that and says, I think the recap was needed because it's right after the Buu and before Super. However, I hate that this approach they took to the timeline why are Goten and Trunks still children? No Oob yet. And I got a lot of thoughts, but I'm happy it's back. It did look good. The story might end up being really good and explain more lore of the universe / world.
Which could be true, but I just feel like the way they did it, right? They just pulled out this character out of nowhere, and it feels like real ass pulley, bro.
Yeah, I believe that. It's Dragon Ball. Also, the next season of My Hero is the final season. Thank God.
Let's go.
Coming out next year. Oh, thank goodness. I still got to watch the rest of this season. But do I? Anyway.
You can read it and be done.
I'm glad you watched Dragon Ball Daima though. So we got that coverage in here a little bit. What else? Number ones was Crystal Sleeper, duh. So Crystal Sleeper is Nina the Starry Bride. It's so far it's okay. It's a lot of if then this type shit that's happening right now, and I don't know. It's not the best so far within episode 1. And apparently Annalise agrees with me. 62 average score with a mean score of 65. It's okay. Like, I just don't, so far I don't like nobody in the show. I don't like Nina. I don't like the character that's supposedly a love interest, which seems weird because she's a child and he isn't. So that's a little awkward, but it's nothing but time to see if it gets better. But I don't like it so far at all. Like, not even the slice. You watch this one?
It's on my list. I didn't get a chance to watch it. Like I said, I was a little behind.
Okay, so it started off with Nina being this orphan girl who's playing. This orphan girl disguised as the boy, but she's disguised as the boy in order to dodge, slavers that would eventually turn her into probably sex work. I don't know, something like that. But anyway, it takes place in this fantasy world where she's growing up in poverty. And basically what happens is it's her and 2 other brothers. The 2 brothers are extremely close with her, and they stealing food and they doing gutter rat shit because unfortunately they're not as well off. It gets to the point it gets to the point where the youngest brother between the 2 brothers is sick. He ended up passing away from an illness, and the older brother is pissed off about it. He's like, yo, I can't take this anymore. And then in the episode, the older brother decides to meet up with Nina in this building. And she's like, okay, so what are we meeting up here for? And it come to find out is because he sold her to some slavers. He sold her out. So now she's been sold off, and they thinking that this is this boy that they're kidnapping because the people that are trying to kidnap him, or Nina in this particular case, but they think he's a boy, is because she has these blue eyes that are specific to the priestess. And this priestess is the daughter of the king who was locked away in his tower to train to become the goddess princess or whatever the fuck is going on with that. And because of that, the king hasn't seen her for like 10 or 11 years or something. So he doesn't really remember exactly what she looks like, but I digress. And when that happens, she basically has to learn how to become royally. And that's basically the entire episode. She's learning to become courtly or like a noble. And it's not going well. One thing leads to another. And I don't know. It's mad mediocre so far. It's definitely not. It isn't even as good as Dahlia and Bloom so far. I just don't like any of these characters. Like, none of them are appealing whatsoever, which is making it hard for me to watch.
You know what that kind of reminds me of, and it's one I meant to talk about last week. But I kind of feel compelled to watch it, but I don't know if I really like anybody other than the main character. The I'll Become a Villainess who goes down in history.
Yeah. I saw
Have you watched that at all?
No, I saw you watch it though.
Every character in there so far is not very good. But the main character, the girl, it's conflicting with her being good, and I'm gonna say why it's conflicting.
Okay.
Her goal is to become a villainess because she's reborn in this game that she's played where it's like the heroine falls in love with the main guy character or whatever, and she hates the heroine in the real game, so she wants to do everything to not be like her. But she is actually like super skilled at everything, but I guess she doesn't quite acknowledge or know how skilled she is because she wants to be trained in swordsmanship. And they're like, her father is talking in the background, so they won't tell her this, that as a 11-year-old girl, she's already surpassing every adult in swordsmanship.
Oh, shit.
She's learning magic, and basically she reawakens at like the age of 5, where she gains all her memories of her past life. So that's when she starts to become like, she reads books, because before then it's like, oh, she's lackadaisical, she's lazy, she doesn't do anything. Yeah. And then all of a sudden she turns 5 and it's like, boom, turn it on. She goes hard, and she meets the king at the young age of like 5 or whatever, when she first reawakens herself, and the king is like, what do you think about this what do you think about this? And she just breaks it down like, I think this is actually pretty bad, and if you don't treat your people in your kingdom right, then they won't be able to do this. And everybody else is like flabbergasted, like, why would you say that to the king? And the king's like, I appreciate that. He goes off,
keeping it real. Yeah,
keeping it real, right? So then, like I said, now she's like 11 or 9, I think, at this point. The next episode, she goes and checks out this village where nobody visits, none of the royals visit, and only the royals have magic in this world. So none of the royals visit this city, and they're like, it's run down. It's only safe at nighttime when everybody is scared to come outside. And she goes there and she's like looking at how kids are being beaten to death, kind of thing. It's kind of like ridiculous.
Messed up, yeah.
And she comes back and the king shows up again, and he's like, what do you think? And she's like, I think that this kingdom is absolutely deplorable. I think that I detest it, and I think that there's some major changes that need to happen. Like, you can't even employ your people. You can't, like, how could this be a good kingdom if you have cities like this around? And he starts to take action for that because he's like talking, and it's like, it's dope because it's like she keeping it real, but she thinks she's being a villain the whole time. Like, if you being real, she's really being better than the heroine, because the heroine is like, she not nowhere to be found. She's out somewhere trying to be pretty and cute or whatever, but whole time the person who's trying to be a villainess is not being a villain. She's just actually just like looking at the world for what it is and trying to do the best thing for the world. So it's like, I'm kind of interested, but so if we being real, nothing has really happened though. That's the thing, is that like nothing's happened. It's just these little things that make it kind of interesting. I don't mind having it on in the background, but we've talked about this before. It's one of those things where I'm telling you, it's not very good, bro. Like, I'm telling you right now, it's not very good. The what's the average score here?
66.
Yeah.
Oh, the average score is 64. Sorry.
Mean score 66. I'm surprised it's that high, and I'm not saying like I'm glued to it when I'm watching it. This is what I'm saying. Like, I'm kind of like tuned in.
You described it really well.
It's not good.
Okay.
But like her family, they know how talented she is, and they're trying to keep it under wraps is the thing. They're like, stop trying to shine. But she's just like really good at stuff in the world. They're flabbergasted by what she does, but the royalty love her for the things that she does, for how outspoken she is and how she does it and how strong she is, that kind of stuff. So they're trying to keep her under wraps, but I imagine that at some point she's going to blow up, because they just made a promise to her that when she turns 15, they'll let her practice swordsmanship again.
Interesting.
So yeah, brother, that's that one.
I was reading through any list, and I'm like, he's explaining it so well. It sounds like it'll be like 75 at least. And to see that this is 64, I'm like, oh shit. But then right as I saw that, it was right as you were saying, like, it's not good. Well, okay, well, that makes sense. So did you watch Blue Lock?
I didn't. I didn't think we were watching that one this season. Did you watch it?
No, hell no. That's why I was asking you to see if you maybe had a word on it or not.
No, I decided I was going to binge that one since I knew you weren't going to watch it.
Yeah,
so I can just go ahead and blast that one out at the end.
And you just let me know how that goes. It's a 78% though, so it's rated really good, but it could be just holdover from last season.
Yeah, you know how people are.
Yeah, people get it real.
Maybe I will watch it week to week since we'll need someone to talk about it.
No, we don't. We don't actually. Funny enough. Okay, so this and here's just thoughts on the season so far, because next week is actually, funny enough, cut down week for some of these shows. Mm-hmm. This season is relatively light. Mm-hmm. And the reason why I'm saying that is while there's still 20 plus shows, they are spread enough to where it isn't too overwhelming, unless you do what I did and decide to wait until the last day to try to watch as many, or do what we did this week, particularly to try to watch all of them. It's just this week. But when I look at it, like there's quite a few days where there's just one or two, or even just max 3, and I'm okay with that. So I might try to like incorporate more stuff in, because it's a little bit more spread. And I'm thinking I'm like going back to One Piece, because there was a discussion in Discord that got me, kind of excited, even though All for One Matt kind of scared me, because I thought One Piece got canceled or something. Because he said, One Piece, don't go. And I'm like, wait, what happened? And he just said, because it's and Kilo responded and said One Piece Egghead art will resume in April of 2025. I'm like, oh, well, shit. That doesn't matter for somebody like me who's about 700 episodes behind anyway. But I digress. I might try to pick up One Piece again and do my One Piece updates on our Patreon.
Yeah. So I think actually cut week is going to be important for me, because I was listening to what you said, how there's some days where it's just like 2 anime to watch. Mm-hmm. I'm looking at my list and I have days where there are 6 anime. I have one day where there's 9 anime to watch.
All at once? Or is that just how you do it?
No, I'm saying that like actual days where 9 anime drops.
What the fuck? Really?
Yeah.
Was it today?
No, that's what day is 5 and 5? So that's 2 days ago. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 anime that dropped on Friday.
Oh, 9 is the day then that I missed. Oh, oops. Yes, I missed Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, so that's why I had so many. Oh, yeah.
And that's a thick day.
You just said you were, before I interrupted you, and I'm sorry for that. You're dropping something?
Oh, yeah, Trillion Game I dropped. I watched it, and
That's not it. Okay, so what did you think about specifically in Orb episode 1? Did you feel me what I was saying with the beginning?
Oh yeah, episode 1 was, I'm not gonna say it was trash, but I can see why you needed more.
Yeah, and that's why they dropped 2 episodes at once. I'm like, okay, because if they didn't, then I probably would have been one that I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna watch this.
but episode 2, I was in. I was sold on episode 2. Same. Episode 3. So hear me out. Episode 3 is my episode of the week because of like how it played out. The ending is the only thing that I was like,
It is, remember, it is a 20, because I got a feeling I know what you're going to say, so you don't even need to say it.
You have no idea.
It's 25 episodes long, so.
Yeah, I think if you have an idea what happens at the end of episode 3, I'll be very surprised.
Okay.
But I feel like this might be a trend, with how the episode played out and the setting of the world, because based on episode 1 and 2 and then getting to episode 3, I'm like, okay, so this is going to be a trend. This is how this is going to play out. But yeah, very interesting. Hold on, let me see. I got to go to this real quick, because Raphael. Yeah, Raphael. I do indeed enjoy his character. Mm-hmm. Let's just see how things go after this.
Sweet. Yeah, I like it.
I'm surprised no one talking about this in the forums. Let me see.
Nope. Not one iota.
Yeah, because if the thing is that this is one of those things where like it's very easy to spoil with just one word.
Interesting.
Because if you give any context, it's spoiled.
Yep.
So that's why I feel like I can't say anything.
Good. Don't. Yeah. I'll watch it. I definitely did not plan to not watch it. I just completely fucking forgot. Anyway. Yeah. Let's get to know Mike Check Waifu, because I think that's it for those. And get into the spoiler talk. It's Tell's turn to read the question and my turn to roll the random number generator. Is it? I don't remember, but it doesn't matter. Who cares? I'll roll the random number generator. Oh, no, it's my turn to read the question. No, it's your turn to read the question. I was right. The number. Take your time. No rush.
All right, what's the number, brother?
86.
Let's go. Watch that anime, by the way. Okay, 86 isn't here, so I'm around down. Do you prefer watching anime?
Oh, wait, hold on. Let's just re-roll. 26. My 26. Favorite number.
Have you ever dropped an anime series? If so, why? Yes.
Quite a few. That's
a lot of them.
Yeah. Let me go to my list. Because you can see dropped specifically in your list.
Yeah. If I'm just giving like a blanket answer, the reason I would drop an anime is strictly for the fact that it was with the amount of anime that we watch, it doesn't make a lot of sense to overindulge in things, especially if they're not quite piquing your interest, right? Yeah. So this says I've dropped 32 anime.
I dropped a total of 51. I mean, just take your fucking pick.
Seven Deadly Sins is one of them. Why is Fairy Tail not on this list?
Let me just talk about one that's popular that I know. Fairy Tail is on my list. Funny. One that I dropped that everybody loves. Most people love. I'm not gonna say everybody. It's Devilman Crybaby. I don't like Devilman Crybaby at all. It was one of those let's be artsy fartsy kind of shows with a very less than interesting story and terrible characters. Yeah. Very, very terrible characters that I hated. So again, I hate characters and I hate your show. So yeah, that one got dropped.
Okay.
I gave Ninja Kamui a 3.
Man, I seen the funniest memes on Ninja Kamui too. That show is not good. Dude was like, what did he say? He said, I invited my friend over and told him this anime was gas, and we got over. It was Ninja Kamui. They get in the mechs and they start fighting. He's like, I left my girlfriend to come watch anime with you. He's like, nah, I gotta exile both of us to the Shadow Realm.
That's crazy. Which one did you say?
Let's just go down the list. The 7 Deadly Sins. What's that? Fairy Tail.
Pick one specific that you have very fond memories of hating. Fond memories of hating? Is that even a thing? What a double negative. How do you have something fond that you hate it? This doesn't make sense. Ignore me.
High Card.
Oh God, yeah, that one.
Yeah, so High Card, I actually think there was nothing enjoyable about it, and
you gave it way more of a chance than I did too, which was you special.
I was actually enticed at first because I thought the concept was fresh and kind of new. You know what I mean? With the element of powers being 2 cards refined to cards in a kind of like poker-esque system. I thought that was cool, but no. And it's not just that the characters were not enticing enough. The way that they fought wasn't enticing enough. There wasn't any real planning or structure to the episodes, in my opinion. I had to drop it. I think I dropped season 1 at like episode 6, and then I went back and like finished it. And I was like, okay, yeah, never again. And I started season 2, and then just no. I couldn't. I absolutely couldn't.
All right, let's take this quick break, and when we come back, we're going to spoil, starting off with 3-0. Then Bleach talk, and after that, Reincarnated as an Aristocrat. So we'll be right back after these. And welcome back to episode 272 of Mic Check Waifu. So I was just about to tell before while we was on break. So I'm gonna just say it now on the after show. 2 shows go by extremely fast when I'm watching them. And funny enough, one of them you wouldn't expect to go by as fast as it does, but it does. Reincarnated is Aristocrat, easily one of the best shows that we were spoiling. The last show we're spoiling this spoiler talk. But funny enough, MF Ghost goes by so fast for me when I'm watching it.
It's racing. They're driving fast.
Okay.
I don't understand.
Okay.
What else are they supposed to do?
Unintended pun aside, it goes by so fast. Like the 20 minutes or so that I'm watching it don't even seem like, I feel like I was watching it for 15 minutes. Like, God damn, it's already over? So, yeah, it's quite literally goes by fast. All right, so let's start off with ReZero, which is ReZero season 3, episode 2. You know, since I thought this was going to be a regular episode, that it was just going to be a regular episode. Even after the end of the first hour and 30 minutes we got, this shit went from 0 to 100 several times. Over and over and over again.
Is that def 20?
18. 19? 19.
He died 3 times in this episode, right?
It was 17 before the season started. Yeah, so it's 20. He's on 20.
Hear me out, bro. Polow texts me, is like, I know we ain't supposed to be talking about ReZero, but I'm telling you, when I came home that night, I watched it.
Did you? Oh my God.
I was like, oh my God, oh brother.
I was on the edge of my seat the entire time, just like this if you're watching the video. I'm like captivated, my eyes glued to my monitor. I'm like, man, what? And I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, listen, everything about this is screaming that I think her name is Fortuna.
You're right. You're right.
It's screaming it, ain't it? Because now she sees Amelia, and then that's when she goes off like, you took away my love. Because technically, even though she didn't, it was the reason why Pettelgeuse died. And both times, essentially. Pettelgeuse died back in the day when he was killed by, or about to be killed by Pandora. Pandora turned him into Pettelgeuse. Or it's a Pettelgeuse Romacante, whatever the fuck he is. He turned in the Sin Archbishop, Sloth. She turned him into that, which probably means she turned Fortuna into that. But I thought Fortuna was dead. Whatever the case may be, it's not explicitly said that it's her. But to me, this episode solidified that it's fucking her, because she was pissed when she saw Amelia after the second death.
One thing they do really well at in this anime is keeping things under wraps.
Pun intended.
Bro.
Keeping things under wraps.
First of all, though, hear me out. Her ability is crazy. She's literally CC champion.
Yeah. Like, and it's shout out to Beatrice for explaining, like, yo, even if you use Shamak, it's not going to do what you think, because this is more of a curse than a spell or something like that. This is like basically when people see her, or whenever you just see her, your emotions is attached to her regardless of anything, which is insane to even think about. Like, how, like, what kind of shit? Which I guess makes sense because who she's attached to, right?
Yeah, you have to be devoid of being affected by, what is it, the gifts or whatever,
which is what Reinhardt was able to counterattack.
Busted. But even then, right, she's still more busted, because if you kill her like Reinhardt did,
while people are there,
everyone who has seen her is now attached to her dies with her.
Yep.
Can't take her head because you take everyone's with them. Turn Reinhardt into a murderer. Subaru, you're a horrible person.
Which I think, to me, I'm gonna be real with you, Till. I think while it's so hard to even say that, because we did just watch season 1 and season 2, and those deaths in season 1 and season 2 were gruesome. But something about these deaths were so terrible. And then the fact that Subaru has to try to rebound from this with only roughly about 15 minutes or so.
Yeah, no time.
There's no like before he used to have days, weeks, and even months in certain cases to where his last checkpoint was, where he would just go back and it'll be a long time before he would die again, and it would get longer and longer before he would die again, or it'd even be shorter, but it'd still last a time. Like it'd be a week or something like that.
Right, he planned it out better.
He has a chance to plan it out. So this time he's on like a time crunch, which seems like 15, 20 minutes or so, where he has to fucking figure out a way to get past this Sin Archbishop. And bro, man, these deaths, like when he was, and I don't even like saying the word, but the one where he was hung
inside the tower,
hung by that barbed chain, that one I had to look away.
Fingers lopped off.
Yep, I had to look away.
I didn't look away, but it was gruesome, brother.
Yeah, when I saw him, like when they showed the scene of him going down, I'm like, nah, I can't see that at all. It's just, that's too much for me. It's way too much. But it's just something about, I want to add that sound to my soundbar when he gets when Return by Death happens. Yeah, I want to add that to my soundbar. I need that.
Yeah. But even so, right? Looking at the context of what she is, and even like, and what makes her so interesting, right, is her interactions with the different scenarios. Because she almost feels unpredictable. Every scenario has been vastly different in terms of her reactions. And I'm not gonna say vastly different, because the one when he was in the tower, the way she moved and reacted was kind of foreseeable for Subaru to not be prepared.
Right.
But even when he was prepared, you know, she operated in a way to where she fought Reinhardt on what seemingly even footing, but you know, Reinhardt can't pull his sword unless it's needed.
Yep. He's a demon, absolute demon.
I swear, it's crazy. But then you even get to the point to where she sees Amelia and she spazzes, and I'm like, I understand why, because he's looking at you. I'm like, all right, I get it. But then you spaz, like you really spazzed out, and she went harder than when she was fighting Reinhardt. And I was surprised even with Amelia being able to keep up.
Which was dope to see.
She's been training. It's been a year, remember?
Yep, and she's been training without Puck, so she getting in on her own now.
How do you feel about the ending, the resolution to how Subaru got past this constant death though?
Past? He ain't get past shit. What you talking about?
I mean, he ain't die in the end.
I guess that's true, but he will, I think.
I don't think so, bro. I think that this is about to be a serious matter here.
Yeah, so
wife number 79.
Yeah, so what's he again? Greed pulled up and kidnapped Amelia.
Archbishop of Greed.
Yep, he went kidnapped Amelia and talking about he's gonna be my wife, so number 79. That's interesting, man.
Cornelius. Is that his name? Regulus Cornelius?
Yep. Regulus Cornelius pulled up. So Regulus Cornelius had the closest to Pandora too. So I'm really curious as to see how that's going to go out. However, I don't know what to think about him taking her. Because is he going to kill Senova? Is she gone? Like I don't remember what happened.
No, at the end, because I don't think she was gone. I think it was like kind of like the stalemate. Like when he got there, she kind of just stopped.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
But I think it's because he has some kind of authority over the situation. But I'm more concerned about what his actual, like his authority is, because hear me out. 79 wives. Does that mean he just subjugates women and they just can't fight him? Like they can't stop?
Well, we know that he has like these invisible blades, right? The authority blade, or the authority things that he used to cut shit into a million pieces.
Right. But it's got to be something more than that though, right? Like it's got to be something else.
Because it's greed. Maybe. Because I don't know, man. I'm just still stuck on trying to figure out why the fuck she was so angry at Amelia.
Yeah. And I guess what I'm thinking is,
I know why, but you know.
Because and this is what I'm thinking. I'm sorry, I'm still in the Regulus Cornelius thing. Petelgeuse could hop bodies. Roman or Sirius, she shares her pain.
Mm-hmm.
What does Greed share? What is his kind of like thing? Because he has to have something that manipulates other people in a sense, like not necessarily take their body, but does he like share his desires or something with others, and they take that on or something like that. So that's what I'm interested in. Like that's what I mean by the authority. Like what's the next part of his ability?
Yeah,
because it's always double-sided, double-folded. You know what I mean?
The thing I have with ReZero is you just don't know how you could win. Like it's you can't fathom it, right? Like I can't fathom how you beat somebody like Sirius still. Like I can't wrap my head around it. But now you mean to tell me Regulus pulls up while we still dealing with Sirius? Like this is too much, man. Like we're only on episode 2.
Now we still got to call for Reinhardt.
You still got to call for Reinhardt for Regulus. I think Reinhardt can take Regulus though. I don't think that's going to be an issue for him. But I'm more so concerned about Sirius. Like I think Sirius is more deadly to the situation because let's say Regulus takes Amelia. I think Amelia is capable enough of fending off or doing whatever she got to do with Regulus until she gets right. It's Sirius that I'm worried about, and this is why. Because her authority is to base anybody who's dealt with her. So we're talking hundreds of innocent people could die the moment she dies or whatever however they decide to counteract that. So I think that's more of a priority. And then the level of just carnage that she can sow is too much. I'm taking Amelia. I'm gonna be real with you. I like Amelia. She got a lot better in season 2. A very well developed. Shout out to the new
already in season 3.
Shout out to the new art style. Very well developed. But there is. I'm more concerned about Subaru, Beatrice, and Sirius than Regulus and Amelia. Because that part was quote unquote shocking. I didn't give it as much of a fuck as you do. I'm gonna be honest, because I just want Sirius.
I understand, but because we are on Beatrice's side right now.
Yes,
and I feel like they hear me out. They put Rem, and Rem just his best girl.
Yep.
Now Beatrice.
She's incredible.
Beatrice then came up, so so now Emilia's C3, but
C3 is perfect.
But because I agree with you is what I'm saying basically. But yeah, like Sirius is the largest threat because not only, and I don't think she can really necessarily take over Beatrice though, right? Because we haven't seen that, but I know Beatrice is still worried about it.
Right.
So I don't know, bro. I don't know how they overcome this because with both Regulus and Sirius there, it looks damning. Yeah. It looks damning.
How do you beat that? Garfeld can come back somehow, but he's spending time with mom, so he's like, what you talking about? Otto, useless, who would be absolutely useless there. I don't know.
Maybe he could avoid something with the spears, but yeah, it's nothing that he could really do either. Yeah.
Yeah. So
maybe maybe what's her name? No, she's not gonna pull up the red girl. She's not gonna pull up.
Oh,
what's her name?
Priscilla.
Her and Aldebaran.
Yeah, good Julius there. I don't know, man. It's crazy. It's just crazy though. It's crazy. I love it. Great episode. 10 out of 10 episode again for you with ReZero. I cannot wait to see what happens next week. All right, to Bleach talk. I want to start off with this.
Get to go jutsu.
There's 2 things that happened in this episode that blew me back, that had me like laughing out loud. Yeah. One of them was not laughing out loud, but like ecstatic that I'm so happy Bleach back.
Yeah, you laughing, but it's ecstatic out of excitement.
Yeah, exactly. So there's 2 things I want to do real quick, and I'm trying to. Sorry, I got to go to my mixer to fix my routing, just so you can hear. No, just so you can hear specifically.
All right.
Oh, can I not do that anymore? Sorry, guys. Oh, there it is, chat mic. There was one there was a moment, and this is, you guys are going to hear it too, so forgive me. I'm going to do searching. I'm not going to edit this part out, so I'm going to be fast forwarding through the episode particularly, just so you can hear two parts specifically. Okay. My first favorite part was, is it here? Okay. You can hear it too, right? Yeah. Hold on. Is this? I think this is it right here. There was a moment in this episode that blew me back. I think it's this. The music. This is Precipice of a Defeat. Remixed. Just listen to the music, y'all. I'm probably gonna get blown back by YouTube, but I don't care. Shields, bro. So he attacks with your walk. And listen to the Precipice. How fucking dope. It's so good.
Yeah, bro.
And that cool ass Getsugo Tensho, that was the second cool thing.
Yeah.
Was that not the coolest fucking? That's the coolest Getsugo Tensho he's ever did. Ever. I'm like, bro. So between the music, the Precipice of Defeat remix, and it continues to get better. It like just fucking gives you swells, crescendos. While your walk is getting blown the fuck back by Ichigo. Chill Ichigo. And then this. Beat his ass. Absolutely wonderful. The way that just crescendos into an ass whooping song. Music in Bleach is some of the best in any shonen anime ever. Like it's on par with You Say Run for me personally, or Precipice of Defeat.
What is crazy about Bleach though is that the music does really fortify what happens in it.
Absolutely fucking,
you know what I mean? It fortifies it, and that's what it should do. Mm-hmm. That's what it should be there for. Bleach is like a perfect example of that. Bleach is a fucking 10 on the fucking sound design scale, bro. Dude, because it's the way he, even like you said, the way he said Getsugo Tensho. It was like the perfect level of smoothness with the audio in the background, bro. Are you recording the hottest song of 2024? Dude, like the year is almost out, bro. What are you doing? This
is what I mentioned to the boys in my Discord. I was like, you know, when Ichigo is calm, that he's about to fuck some shit up. That is a known anomaly within Bleach. Like whenever he's calm, like when Aizen was talking all that shit, like when he was like, when he told Aizen, let's take this somewhere else. And Aizen's like, well, I don't need to take somewhere, blah, blah, blah. He was shouting that shit. And Ichigo go, in an instant, palms his fucking face and takes him across the fucking world and drags him. Like when you get calm Ichigo, you know he about to pop off. And that Getsugo Tensho was the coolest shit ever. I'm like, he just said he gets to go Tensho. And it just fucking was like, whoosh, and there's some of this fucking huge slash, and you're walking, getting his ass whooped until he lets Ichigo know, like, listen, I can see I've seen all of it. I didn't even turn these boys on yet. Now, let me turn them on. And he turns them on, and then it's over. But what's awesome to see, though, is if he didn't have that cheat code, that villain plot armor that Bleach is ever so known for, he would have got fucked up. He would have lost. I think. You know?
I agree, because Ichigo was putting bro in a bag. Seemingly so, because it's not like Ichigo was doing stuff and he just wasn't fighting back, so to speak. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that he was using his strongest or stuff, but he definitely was fighting back, and he had to put up barriers and stuff like that. He had to see everything for him to not get completely obliterated. Right. Which is crazy, because that just means Squad Zero turned Ichigo into the bigger goat that he always was. But I guess it kind of always comes down to the ending.
Yeah, it's very formulaic. Bleach is never known for being unique, right? But it's the world, the characters, and the music that comes together in this beautiful orchestrated, pun intended, just beautiful culmination of well, albeit very basic, very normal shonen that I hate. I absolutely hate. You cannot take it away from Bleach because it was like one of the ones, you know?
It's still one of them ones.
Still one of them ones. And it does it because of, like I said, the investment that it takes and the time that it takes between the character's world and sound design. Like, you can't deny it. But it was incredible, man. It was an incredible episode. What is Chad? Huh?
Oh, I was gonna say they did ask the humans. Y'all think y'all gonna beat your watch?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, no, not at all. But Ichigo may be able to. Anyway, it was great, man. It was a great episode. What is Orihime and Chad doing there, though? At least
standing there looking. Orihime ain't healing.
Yeah,
Chad ain't did nothing here, but standing there like this.
Yeah,
with his jaw dropped.
Yeah, but at least what's her face did something or tried to do something.
I mean, but of course she would.
Yeah.
Yoruichi, not
used to go. Yes,
yeah, Yoruichi would definitely do that.
Yep. Yeah. It's very, very intriguing stuff, man. Great episode. Great episode. I don't know. Again, we just talked about this with ReZero as well, but it's the same with Bleach. Is you never fucking know, like, how are you going to win, but then you remember it's Bleach.
It's Ichigo.
He's going to die first, probably. But
I mean, you saw what happened in this episode, though.
This episode was a little bit more different because of the simple fact is you watch, or Yabak is how they say it in the fucking, I don't know, Yahawabak is how they say it in the sub, but he got Ichigo because Ichigo, we learned that Ichigo was the only one that was able to kill the Soul King. He killed the Soul King. So now the fucking Soul Society, Hueco Mundo, and the Land of the Living is about to fucking collapse. Mm-hmm. And I'm so...
It would have been better if Ichigo never showed up, because then nothing could have happened.
Right. Like, I'm so taken back by this. Like, it's...
But my issue is why doesn't anybody else know that? If we know Ichigo is made up of all the things, Fullbringer, Polow, Quincy, Soul Reaper, if we know he's everything, and y'all know that it takes everything to kill the Soul King, why y'all training Ichigo to go up there?
Because they don't know that Yabak is unable to kill the Soul King. You know?
But why do Yabak know that and don't nobody else know that? That's what I'm confused by.
What he has the eyes.
I understand that.
You can see it all.
No, I understand that, but I'm saying, like, why don't everything is black dude know that too?
I don't think he would, because he doesn't have the eyes.
Okay.
Like, having the eyes to see everything versus somebody who is essentially created to protect the Soul King is two very different things.
I understand. I'm just saying, I feel like there should be a level of, like, understanding and knowledge once you reach a certain level.
Yeah,
but I get it. I get it.
I get it. Yeah,
because your watch is your watch. I get it. He's supposed to be different.
If he didn't have those eyes, then he wouldn't know. But because he can't see it, he knew that he was going to do it. He needed him to do it. Yeah, unfortunately,
I feel like they gave him the same plot armor they gave Aizen, though. Like, Aizen was like, I created you to be all of these things, and I need you to be all of these things.
Very
and
similar.
Your watch is like, yeah, you all these things because I need you to be all these things.
Very similar. You're right. Which kind of takes it down a little bit when you put it in that perspective.
I'm not trying to say that, but it did blow me when he said that. I was like, oh my God, you're Aizen. Mm-hmm. And then just call Aizen to come shut bro down.
Yeah.
Which technically I don't think Aizen will be able to do if we're being real.
When you think about it, Yabak is he's the one who told Aizen to do all that, so he gets
right.
So that's kind of Bleach. It's so generic and reachy,
but it's good in what it does, though.
Good though. It does it good. It's no excuses for it. Like I'm not gonna. You can't make up any excuses for how atypical be usual it is. But it's so good that whatever. At this point, you know, I enjoy it. You got any thoughts on what's going to happen now that the king is dead?
Jiro Shunsui, the new captain of the Soul Society.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, bro. I think that basically he's gonna get all the captains together, all the captains together. And no, I think they're gonna evacuate.
To where? If all of it is collapsing,
I'm not sure, but I feel like they got to evacuate to somewhere. But, yeah. Right? I feel like they evacuate to somewhere, and I think
the hyperbolic time chamber.
Probably, but I think Ichigo is going to be like, I think Ichigo going to be captured.
I'm gonna just jump to the very, very end of whatever this is. What I think is going to happen at the very, very end of whatever this is that Ichigo is going to become the Soul King, and it's going to end very bittersweet and bad.
Oh, okay. I don't foresee that, and I only say I don't foresee that because he can't be the Soul King and be a kid at the same time.
No, because if you look at the Soul King, looks about the age of fucking Ichigo right now. As strange as that sounds, he does. So age, I don't think is a factor. What I'm thinking is that because Ichigo is Fullbringer, Hollow, blah 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 blah, all of it. They're going to need him to replace that to bring all of it back together again. Atypical be usual.
But we don't know if the Soul King. And I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying, is the Soul King another step above that though? Is he like something else too? I don't know, bro.
Yes, he is. His son is Yawak. He created Quincy's, but he's like, Quincy's aren't really needed in the balance of this world between humans, hollows, and soul reavers. So we got to get rid of the Quincy's. Like he's like trying to eliminate the Quincy's, and that's why Quincy's is holding his major grudge, which I think this episode was good. Did a very good job of explaining this whole reasoning behind it, because it just seemed very I'm evil for evil's sakes until they broke it down like this. Like the Soul King literally tried to, for their understanding, their Soul King literally tried to eliminate them just because they weren't necessary. They were just in the way, which is a reasonable thing to be pissed off about, to be fair. Yeah,
I was saying is the Soul King something more than all of that though? That's why I'm asking.
How because can you I feel be like more than all of it?
We don't know what the whole thing is, though. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying.
Mundo, the land of the living, is in the Soul Society, which is
I understand that, but I'm saying like just because he's that doesn't mean that the Soul King. Because like if you created all of it, does that mean that there can be a replacement? Is what I'm saying. We don't necessarily know if there can be a replacement for the Soul King.
The only thing that would be able to replace somebody that created everything is somebody that is everything, in my opinion.
I understand. I'm saying I don't know if that is an equivalency. You know what I mean? Because I guess if you are all of it, you are 100% of it all. But is Ichigo 100% of it all, or is he just amalgamations of it all?
Yeah. If all of it is a part of you, then is it segmented or not?
If we're going off what you said, which I think is possible, he would have to be able to tap into 100% of all of those things.
Sure, yeah.
And that's 4 training arcs.
In every situation that he was in, he had 100% of it.
He has 4 more training arcs, bro. He got to fully unlock his Quincy, fully unlock his Fullbringer, fully unlock his Hollow.
Yeah. Well, he already fully unlocked the Hollow when he got his hole blown through his chest. And then the Fullbringer, that was just a disaster because that was a terrible season of Bleach.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's very interesting. Very interesting. All right, let's move on to Reincarnated as an Aristocrat so I can get some sleep. It's 1 o'clock in the morning, damn near 1 o'clock in the morning. This every single time I watch this show, I get a thug tear. That one tear roll down the left side of my face every time because I'm just that captivated with how fucking good this show is. That invested in each time a character talks about or expresses the emotion that they're feeling. Like at the grave of his father. That it touched me in so many different ways. That part was so important. The conversation between the current the guy that's fighting for the Millicent. I forget the province name. His son. The
governor
the governor. Yes, the current governor of the that's beefing with his brother basically to try to take over the kingdom or whatever, the empire, whatever the situation is. His son, that situation with his son, I'm like, damn, I hated him just one episode ago. And now I'm like, brought it right back around.
I swear, bro.
And it was like it was nothing. Like, and now I like this kid now.
It's like they writing with like a crazy pen, bro.
Bro, a torch or something. That shit's
crazy.
Fire. Charlotte talking to Ars about going to war, how dedicated and loyal she is. His wife, she's just adorable and just perfect in every single possible way. Everything about this show is perfect.
Yeah, yep. That's it. Is that the end of it? No, but hear me out. Even like when we start with the beginning and they break down the planning, yo, she's a genius. And it's not genius in the sense of like, oh, she's super smart, but it's just the understanding of people. Mm-hmm. I love how they facilitate this view to understand everybody's specific skills and how they develop. Yep. It's crazy because in the first season, we kind of got an idea of it, but now we're seeing her get to fully play her cards and use her hands, or play her hand. And then we get like the like you said, the conversation with the father, and then we know that he's going to go into war now. Mm-hmm. He's going to go to his first battle. And bro, that's where my thug tear is coming from.
Yes.
Because it's like, do you have the face of a warrior? And he's like, it's not whether I have a face of a warrior now, it's I have to. Because I'm doing it for the people. And that's the same conversation they had. What was his name? Ringo? Ringu
or some shit? Yeah.
Yeah. It's the same conversation because it's not about trying to have pride in where you're from or your people or whatever like that. It's about doing what's best for them. And he's like, I got to show my best way to like demonstrate my help for them or what I want for them in the future. Mm-hmm. And being able to have that face of a warrior when you gotta have it is gonna be a lot. And they've shown development. Remember, he went into the straight training after being denied on the battlefield. He went into learning just as much as he can, and he hasn't fallen through once. He's always been like the guy that he came through. He ain't fall through. So it's been nice to see him succeed in this fashion. Although I am still a little worried, but it's like, I definitely feel like he's gonna see the first one. He's gonna be shaking a little bit, but he's gonna get over it because he's gonna know he got to do what he has to do.
You know what I love about it the most?
What's that, bro?
The fact that he's getting the recognition, and even albeit he isn't really doing much. All things considered, he's not doing much of anything. He's putting together a group of people that can get shit done. But and he doesn't rest on that laurel. He like knows like I really didn't do much though, and it's like that small little piece of his character, of Ars's character, is what makes me like him even more because of the like. Listen, I know I'm not really doing much here. It's my people. It's the people around me that I am the one that gathered it.
Yeah, he's a manager. He's a really good manager.
Yeah, exactly right. I'd love seeing him getting the recognition he deserves from Lord Lemire. It just, I don't know. It excites me. Like I'm happy for him.
Yeah, and it's because what he does isn't necessarily just gather them. What he does is he gets them in the places to do what they need, right? Yeah. Because those people, and some of them,
it's right? Convincing too. By the way, if it wasn't for Ars's character by itself, he wouldn't be able to gather them as well as he did anyway.
Yeah, and some of those people, though, in general, would be nowhere without him kind of like convincing them, without him being able to see the potential. And I think that's what's most important. And I think that's what's going to make his character better in the future is not just, and like it is what he already has done. is seeing where people can be developed at, right?
Right.
And that's what he excels at, is looking at people's talents and then developing those talents, seeing what they're good at, because everyone was good at something. He found what they were good at and told them how to make it better.
Right. Exactly right. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful show. This has been a wonderful show. I'm at Polow Born Fly on all social media.
I'm at King Telliano on all social media.
You can follow our social medias at Mic Check Waifu on Twitter and at Mic Check Waifu Instagram, TikTok, and Threads. Make sure you join our Discord and subscribe to the YouTube channel. And as always, Mic Check.
Happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
You're now tuned into Mic Check Waifu. Is that you? Is that you? Is that you? Is that you? Is that you?